Well, I'm Abby, this is Jay, and let's play some music.
Yeah, thank you. We have a winter concert. Let me explain first what we won't be doing. We won't be playing Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. But we will be playing, how many we have, 14? No, we've got more than that.
I didn't count, I should have.
A lot of
keep talking, I'll count.
All right, yeah. Well, we're going to play some medieval, some Renaissance music, maybe a Celtic piece, and play music. 15?
15 instruments.
Sing a few songs and talk about our instruments as we play them. So I think we'll begin in the 13th century.
Yes. And I have my earliest version of the flute, the bamboo flute. And Jay has a very different instrument too from history.
The Rebeck. From my research, this apparently appeared in Europe around the 13th century, descended from Mediterranean, Middle Eastern instruments. This one has 3 gut strings. They're usually not fretted. This one has frets. Carved from a single piece of wood. It was very popular for a few hundred years, and then other instruments that were louder began to come in, and this kind of went from playing in the courts to just being played by the common people. It's very quiet, but a beautiful, sweet little nasally sound because of the gut strings and the size of the instrument. So we're going to begin with a few pieces from medieval Spain, from a large collection of works called the Cantigas de Santa Maria.
And King Alfonso X was on a mission to collect, and he even composed some of these over 400 pieces of music. And we're going to play just 4 of them for you tonight. We're going to start out with Cantica number 353 out of the collection.
Okay.
Our next cantica, I'm going to pick up this instrument right here, which is called a psaltery, and it's the harp's little cousin, spelled P-S-A-L-T-R-Y or P-S-A-L-T-E-R-Y. The spelling really wasn't standardized. This instrument dates back to the days of David, who slew Goliath and became king and composed psalms upon the harp and the psaltery. And mine is a very modern style of psaltery. I have, if you think of it as like a piano, these would be all the white keys, and these would be all the black keys. So I have a chromatic psaltery.
And this particular harp is based on the Gothic style harp of the late medieval and Renaissance times, a very small harp, 19 strings. They were usually strung with gut. This one happens to be strung with wire, as is how the Irish harps were at that particular time. So it's a nice combination of sounds. And the next cantiga is number
159.
159.
Non-solfaing. For our next two canticas, I'm going to be playing what I like to joke around and call the gateway instrument, the little soprano recorder. They're really inexpensive, they're easy to find, pick up, and play, and sometimes they lead you to more expensive instrument addictions. So our next cantica is 166. recorder, and Jay is going to pick up a modern instrument played in a very old style for this last cantica.
Yeah, this is the mountain dulcimer, considered by many an American instrument because people traveled here to the Appalachian Mountains years ago, hundreds of years ago, and began to build these. Some say it descended from the French épinay from the Renaissance. Some say it had its roots ancestrally from instruments from the Isle of Man or
from Germany.
Germany and some of the Northlands. But regardless, it's often played on the lap and plucked nowadays. But research shows that some of the American people that played this actually used short bows as well. So we're going to combine that with another 13th century cantiga. This is number 100.
And I will leave Spain for a while.
Of course. What kind of script do you have? You have everything memorized. But I mean, are you using modern music script? Or
you mean the
there
notation?
Yes, the notation.
We get our music from everywhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes we learn it in that old tradition by
Ear.
That's not when there's a term for when the musicians pass
Are they
along.
gnomes?
The canticas they're read by notes. They have little square
Yeah,
notation.
the square notes,
Yeah,
the gnomes.
yeah.
Right.
And sometimes we find that we'll go to the book, we'll learn it, and then we'll look at the notes and go, that doesn't really work for me. Let's play it like this. So we do all our own arrangements too. But I'm going to move over to my large instrument, the only instrument up here that one of us had a hand in making. And that would be the hammered dulcimer.
Oh, wow.
The hammered dulcimer actually dates back almost 2,500 years, back into the Persian Empire, where it became picked up by spice traders, travels around throughout the East and all the way to China, to Europe, became many different instruments and led to become our modern day piano. And I call it a hammered dulcimer because to play it, you don't pluck these strings, you don't strum the strings. Instead, you strike them with these little mallets called hammers. Jay, you're on.
The viola da gamba. This is an instrument, often people say it's a little cello, right?
No.
It's not. It actually descended from early forms of the guitar. This came before the cello, actually. There's four main sizes. There are others, but the main are the tenor, which is this one. There's the bass, which is about cello size. The treble, which is smaller than this. And there's also a part two, which is very small. And tonight I'm playing with a Baroque bow, but in the Renaissance show and tell, you might use the fixed arch bow. It's called fixed arch because it just is stays
Permanently
curved.
curved. Yeah.
Permanently curved. You don't adjust the tension. There's no screw on the end. But with these instruments, you play with an underhand bow, and you have your middle finger touching the hair. so you can adjust your tension on the bow as you play as well. So we're going to play a little short piece from 13th century France before we move forward into the Renaissance. This is written by Colin Musset of France. He wrote this, we believe, as winter was coming and he was looking for a wealthy patron to winter over with. He calls this Quand je vois hiver, or when I see winter coming.
Live performance. Woo!
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to change off my my hammers to my slightly louder hammers, which the last pair had a little bit of suede to give me that muted sound. These are just plain wood, so I'll get a little more of a bell-like sound. And we're going to travel forward into the Renaissance in France, where this time of year they would be doing a lot of dancing and telling stories, singing songs, all sorts of things. And this is a dance piece of a type called a brawl. Not this Irish brawl, but the Frenchy brawl, where you're doing this sort of thing. And this one is called the Torch Brawl, when they would bring in the lights to dance. out and pick up my chirpy little recorder once again. And this next dance tune was so popular, it's still a brawl. It became known as the official brawl, so it was the one that you really had to know. And the melody was so catchy, it eventually became a holiday carol, but I won't tell you which one. So, and Jay has his lovely triplet harp.
Yeah, most people refer to this as a Celtic folk harp nowadays. It's a little large for the Renaissance. You'd see these occasionally this large, but usually somewhere where it's stationary. As minstrels had to travel from town to town, you wanted a small portable harp like that one, but this works very nicely on this particular piece.
The official brawl. Know what piece that was?
There we go.
Well, we're off to England next, and a piece, a very seasonal piece that was sung as people gathered in the winter. Of course, back when there was no internet and TV and other things, there was not as much to do, so you got together and you ate and you hung out and you sang songs and tried to stay warm and you celebrated each other's company. Much like we're doing tonight. This is To Drive the Cold Winter Away with a Harp.
The bamboo flute and a bit of singing. All hail to the days that merit more praise than all the rest of the year, and welcome the nights that double delights, as well for the poor as the peer. Sweet blessings attend each merry man's friend, the thought but the best that he made, forgetting all wrongs with poems and songs to drive the cold winter away. of the year is spent in good cheer, with neighbors together to meet, to sit by the fire with friendly desire, with others in love to greet. All grudges forgot are put in the pot, all sorrows aside as they lay, and spend the long nights in the misty nights to drive the cold winter away, forgetting old wrongs with poems and songs to drive the cold winter away. Well, next up we have a lovely solo piece which Jay is going to play for you on a very unusual looking guitar. So Jay, take it away.
Right. Well, you're a reproduction of what's commonly called the Baroque guitar, the guitar of the 17th century. It's a bit smaller than our modern guitar, but a bit larger than the Renaissance guitar, which would have been about ukulele size. This is tuned similar to a modern guitar, but with courses. You've got an E here, a couple of B's, a couple of G's, a pair of D's in octaves, and a pair of A's. Sometimes they're tuned an octave higher than normal. In this particular tuning, I have them in octaves, so I had a low A down there as well. And this is a little bit of a Bach piece, Sleepers Awake. Many of the small Renaissance instruments are very quiet. A lot of concerts then were very intimate, like this, or smaller. Sometimes people sitting around at a table or huddled close together. So it's nice to be able to play these instruments in a public place that isn't too big, where they can be heard.
Mm-hmm. But we'll travel to Italy next with the lovely Baroque guitar, and I'll add the bamboo flute to this next dance tune. It's called La Volta. Volta meaning to vault or to leap. This was a very energetic dance that was very scandalous when it first came to England, until Queen Elizabeth fell in love with it. And then no one dared say anything.
Of course. Oh, it's wonderful.
a lot of the Renaissance dance tunes, there'll be this pause before the last note. That's to let the dancers know that the song is ending, and the last note is called a reverence, where you would bow or curtsy to your partner, revere them.
That's right.
Interesting bit of trivia.
Yes. Well, we move ahead historically to the next phase of the guitar, the classical guitar. This was actually based on classical and flamenco guitar design. It's a very light instrument, but we're going to Renaissance Italy, staying there.
Yeah.
Yes, actually staying there. And one of the pieces from the works of Vivaldi from the Four Seasons, there were 3 movements to winter. We're just going to do the
Snow, sleet, and hail.
Yeah, we're going to do the sleet, the slow sleet, the Inverno or the Largo from Vivaldi's Winter.
Return to France, and I'm going to get my little recorder back up. No, not this one, sorry. Occupational hazard, I sometimes lose track of what I play on what. No, this is the Irish Pennywhistle with this French tune with a curious title. You may have seen it in your caroling books. Pat-a-pan. Pat-a-pan. What does pat-a-pan mean in French? Well, the most direct translation is rum-pa-pum-pum. It's the sound that the French drum makes.
Wow.
So this is a song all about the joy that the instruments bring to the party, called Pat-a-pan.
Hey!
Hey, Willie, that's your little drum with your flute dropping the crumb when we hear the instruments. hand, and we hear the instruments humming and be warm, be sad.
Hey!
Now we'll return to Spain next with a Renaissance carol, and I'm going to spin my dulcimer around for this next one, just so you get to see a little bit of how I play. And this next carol is called Riu Riu Chiu, and it's the sound that they think. One translation says it's the sound of the kingfisher, a bird, who is calling forth an alarm that the wolves were coming. So this little bird was sent to let the shepherds know, you better get moving. That's one translation that I've found so far. But it's a very popular carol, and there are words to it. And the Monkees, that group back in the 60s, the Monkees recorded a version of this on their holiday record. So this is Riu Riu Chiu with the hammered dulcimer and the viola da gamba once
Yes.
more.
Well, check it out on YouTube. They really did a good job.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. That's one of my favorites. Can you tell?
This next one is from Italy. It's a song. It's part lullaby, and it's actually part celebration, complete with fa la las. Because once the baby's asleep, you want to celebrate a little, but the celebration wakes the baby, so you return to the lullaby again. So the cycle goes and goes. This is called Dormi Dormi, or Sleep Sleep.
flute with a beautiful song played upon the Irish wooden flute and the lovely Celtic harp. Now, all we know about this song is the title. We've reached out, we found it in a dusty old book of Gaelic songs, and we've reached out to a number of notable Irish personages like Brian O'Donovan, and all we know, Na Lanai and Bethel, the children of Bethlehem. That's it.
Well, next, a bit of an Irish tradition from Boxing Day, the day after Christmas.
No. It's not that kind of boxing.
Yeah, not to say that never happens, it may, but
On St. Stephen's Day, or December 26th, you would box up the remnants of your holiday feast and you would give it to the poor. That's what the boxing comes about as.
But there's an Irish tradition involving a wren, the bird the wren, where the young children on Boxing Day will find a wren. I don't know how they capture it, they probably have a method, and take it around town all day long, charging people a penny to see it. At the end of the day, take the pennies, have a little party, release the bird.
Whatever form it was in.
Yes. Hopefully it's not a funeral for the bird, but do that. And of course, all through the day they whistle and sing many different songs about this activity. We have one particular favorite that we'd like to play for you tonight. Believe it or not, it's called The Wren. I didn't time that out right.
By the way, there isn't going to be a quiz or a test on any of the information we give you, so don't worry about taking notes or anything.
Right.
We'll take all the notes. Sorry, Jay. useless looking instrument. This is two whistles, two penny whistles tied together. One's a full scale. One's only 4 notes. And when you put it in this shape, it's called an aulos, A-U-L-O-S, A-L-L-O-S, or however they spell it. It's, once again, not standardized.
No.
And it's a Greek instrument, which I find can play Russian tunes too. Like this next one that's by Tchaikovsky out of the Nutcracker Suite. This is the Dance of the Reed Pipes. Choice.
Well, I think we're going to travel back to Spain for a piece.
Okay.
I'll pick up the guitar.
I'll pick up the last instrument on my rack over here. Another penny whistle. This one is in a different key. I got to make sure I have the right one because occasionally I grab the wrong one. But you can see there are 2 different keys. The size makes the difference. It's this one. There we go.
This is a piece that's been around for, I believe, a few centuries. It's still popular to this day. It's called El Diciembre Congelat, which means cold December's winds.
Diciembre congelat, confusa stritira, abro de flors coronat, tot el mund admira, quan en un jardí d'amor, no schöna davina flor, d'una ro, d'una sa, d'una rosa bella, becun mai ponceia. Cold December winds were still in the month of snowing. As the world in darkness slept, springtime's hope was growing. Then one rose tree blossomed new, one sweet flower on it grew. On the tree once bare grew the rose so fair, of the rose tree blooming, sweetly air perfuming. On the spot.
You are.
Yes, I am. We're going to play a very modern song for you.
We are.
Yes, we are.
All right.
Because I am your wife and I say so.
There you have it.
I know. I'm going to get out one more instrument, one that I wasn't planning on playing, but I like to share this next song. It's the most modern holiday song that we play because Jay wrote it. I know. He cooks, he plays harp, and he writes music. About 10 years ago now, I woke up Christmas morning to breakfast in bed, and Jay was sitting there with his guitar, and and he gave me the gift of this beautiful song, which made me cry, and it's been my favorite Christmas gift ever, and I'd like to share that with you as our final song. It's called A Christmas Wish. Oh, with the silver flute, by the way. Wish I could write you a song for Christmas to tell you what I feel in my heart. I got so much to say, but my words slip away, and they're gone before I can start. I wanted to sing you this song for Christmas in the hopes that it would make you smile. But I can't find a rhyme, and I'm running out of time. Would you please stay with me for a while? 'Cause you are the star on my Christmas tree, my reason for holiday cheer. Joy to me is the face that I see on Christmas and all through the year. Wish I could find the right present that would sum it all up with a bow. But all that stuff seems hardly enough to tell you what you already know. Wish I could write you a song for Christmas, a Noel or an old lang old acquaintance before that. I got so much to say, but my words slip away. I just hope that you'll always be mine. 'Cause you are the star on my Christmas tree, my reason for holiday cheer. Joy to me is the face that I see on Christmas and all through the year. Joy to me is the face that I see on Christmas and all through the year. On Christmas and all through the year. Thank you all so much for coming out this evening, and if you have any questions about the instruments, we'll be up here to answer them for you. If we don't know, we'll tell you we don't know.
Yeah.
And thank you again to the East Long Meadow Cultural Arts Council who made this concert happen
Yes,
tonight.
and thanks for the library hosting it. It's very nice too.
And for all of you.
Yeah, for coming here. Thank you so much. If you'd like to take some music home, we do have a few CDs in the back of Renaissance and Celtic music. Some of them with singing, some of them instrumental. And if you're interested, please see one of us and we'll take care of you. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.